I have these LED downlights which are 12 volt, 18 watt with a total of, I think there's 6 chips in each downlight. Okay, so I'll show you what's happening anyway. I've got the toolbox on the laptop and the laptop plugged into a RS232 controller that's then plugged into the C-Bus network. That allows me to control the C-Bus network with the laptop. I can reprogram the light switches to do whatever I need the light switches to do. If I want to change the way something works, a timing control, a dimming control, or any of those sort of functions, the C-Bus allows you to do that. And one of the benefits I like, or one of the things I like about the C-Bus, is it has the, I'll just go around to the front here. Okay, so the C-Bus system, get that to stay. Okay, C-Bus system has the ability to have all different types of light switches. You can have touch panel light switches. You can even get a controller that will connect up to the internet. So if you wanted to, you can use your iPad or iPhone to turn lights and fans or whatever's on the network on and off. In my case, I've got a fairly basic C-Bus system. I've just got all of the lights are on the C-Bus in the house, and I've just got basic gang plates where I need them, which are fully programmable to do whatever you want. And one of the main things I wanted the C-Bus for was to be able to control the heat lamps and the fans in the bathrooms, because my kids have got a bad tendency to leave the heat lamps on or even the fans on. And the fans, well, I mean, fans are good for a little while, but you don't want to run a fan for more than 40 minutes because you can burn them out. And that's not a very good thing to have to go and have to replace all your fans. And there is also the possibility of a fire hazard if you burn the fan out. But anyway, so the C-Bus controls the fans and the heat lamps and all the lights, the downlights on the different controllers. And so I've got the bathroom lights, so if the kids leave the lights switched on, after 30 minutes the heat lamps turn themselves off. Once again, the same with the fans. If the kids leave the fans on, even in the laundry, if the laundry fan gets left on, it will turn itself off after about 20 minutes. The other thing too is you can add peripheral systems to the C-Bus network, like temperature sensors and water tank levels and all those sort of things too. So if you had a couple of water tanks and one was getting a bit low, it could automatically sense that the level of the water is low and turn a pump on to say refill that tank back up to a decent level. Or if you've got a heater, or a wood heater in our case, with a fan, you could have a GPO, a general power outlet, on a C-Bus network if you wanted to be inclined that way, and have the fan on the heater turn on when it gets to a certain temperature in the room. So there has a fair bit of flexibility to the C-Bus network. So the problem I have, okay, so this is the RS232 controller, PC interface. PC interface on this side and C-Bus on this side. And we've got C-Bus light, meaning we've got a good connection, and we've got the units giving us good comms, so the comm light's on as well. And whenever I'm doing something with the laptop, that comm light will flash to indicate that something's happening. So I'll show you what my problem is. Now, if I go into the family light switch that's controlling these downlights, and there's 6 downlights in this dining room, and there's a family room, and there's another 6 lights in the lounge room that are on the same. They're basically on the same controllers. They're on a dimmer controller. what I've found though is trying to dim these lights isn't ideal on a C-Bus when it's a leading edge type C-Bus and not a trailing edge C-Bus. So, but the trailing edge C-Bus unit was like $400 more. It was a lot more expensive, so that's why I got the leading edge C-Bus controller. And I guess I should have got leading edge downlights. So if I change these lights or ramp them down, I'm ramping them down now to about 80%. They start to give a little bit of a flicker. Now you probably can see that flickering. The flickering's not so bad if they've only just been turned on, but these lights have been on now for about half an hour. So if I bring them down to about 60%, we still have a fairly bad flicker, but they're not coming down in brightness. They're still at full brightness, but they're flickering. If I bring them down to about 40%, we still have the flickering, but they're still at full brightness. If I bring them down further, I'll keep bringing this down. We'll get it down to 20% there. At 20%, it's still doing the same thing. They're flickering and they're still full brightness. I get these down to about 10%, just under 10%, and they'll dim down to half brightness and then they'll flicker back up to full brightness. So get them down. They're at 5% now. So they're around 5%, they're at half brightness and they're steady sort of at half brightness, but there's no transition from full brightness down to no brightness in the ramping. It's just either it's on or it's half, and there's just nothing in between. So I'll turn them off now. So what I've had an experiment with is I've put a resistive load on the 240 volt side of the switch mode power supply, on one of the switch mode power supplies, in the lounge room lights here. So the lounge room lights are off at the moment, and so when I say a resistive load, basically all I've done is put a 20 watt 240 volt incandescent light globe plugged in into the same circuit as the input to one of the switch mode power supplies at the 240 volt level. And that resistive load seems to be enough, it's only 20 watts, but that resistive load seems to be enough to make the downlights behave properly. So let me just show you what I mean by behaving properly. I'll grab my camera and I'll swing it around to the lounge room. Let me just get back up here. I've been home with a broken leg for 70 days and I'm getting quite bored. Okay, so hopefully you can see in the lounge room there. Let's just turn the lights on to start off with. So I select the lounge room lights on the toolkit and I'll turn the lounge room lights on. Okay, so now if I ramp the lounge room lights down, and bear in mind that these ones have got the resistive load on the input side of the switch mode power supplies going to the LEDs, the downlights. The LED downlights have their own individual switch mode power supplies. So there's a total of 6 switch mode power supplies, total of 6 downlights, but there's only one resistive load on one of the downlights. So I'll bring the downlights, I'll ramp the downlights, if I can get it to come on to the right screen here. Oops, it's half. Put it back up. I've mucked up. Right. This is a work in science here, so a bit of an experiment. Okay, so we're at 100% ramp. bringing it down to 90%, continuing down, we're down to about 50%. No, sorry, now we're down at 50%. The screen's got a bit of a lag on it. Okay, so we're down to about 40%. Now we've come down to about 30%. And my screen's lagged again, hang on. Okay, we're down to 10%. And that's at 5%. And that should be 0 or off. Now, I don't know if they are actually off. I'll let me have a look. Yes, they are. They're off. Okay. So I'll just ramp them back up. So ramping that back up to about 20%. And it's stopped for me. A bit of a comms. I've got a bit of a comms issue with the USB to COM adapter. Or RS232 adapter, so that's okay. You just have to bear that in mind when I'm trying to ramp this up. So we're up to 50%. We're now up to about 60%, and we're now about 80%, and now we're at 100%. So I hope that video demonstration is of some use to someone, and I'm sure I'll get some feedback telling me any ideas I can do to try and eliminate the need to have to use a resistive load like a incandescent light globe. I really don't want the idea of a incandescent globe in the roof space just so I can dim my lights. Even though it's only 20 watts, I would rather have a better way of doing it. So if anyone's got any ideas, please post in the comments.